Hey there guys, in this video we're going to be going to the Physalis crown stage, the key to weapon. Now this one's kind of tricky because it's locked to dark lineage units. The missions are no continues, no KOs, 5 turns or less. The boss is a dragon demon, and he's sort of bulky, but not too bad. And if you have one of the premium dark lineage units like Flaring Rain, Deoxys, or Dark Lineage Lastwell, it should be a relatively simple clear. Now, if you don't have any of those, it's going to be a lot harder, and I'm going to try to figure that out over the weekend and maybe get a guide that way. But for this one, we're going to use Flaring Rain. Now, I will say Flaring Rain is probably the worst of the 3 premiums to do this with, because the boss has heavy fire resistance and no dark or ice resist. So ice or dark will overall be better, but I don't have Deoxys, and I did get a Lastwell during one of the daily free pulls last week, but he's only EX1, and EX1 Lastwell is pretty weak. But we're going to go with this team. So we're only going to use 4 units for this clear. You can definitely add an extra unit to that empty party slot, but we don't really need to, so I'm just going to demonstrate the basic 4-man clear for this clear. So let's get in here and do it a go. And like I mentioned, he is pretty resistant to fire, but Flaring Rain is so strong, he's going to kill this boss anyway. So what this boss does, every turn he's going to do AoE physical damage. That can be miraged or evade covered, etc. C card is going to cover it for us with his auto cover. The boss is also going to do single target physical damage that ignores cover and ignores provoke. It can be evaded though. So our C card and Fina are evading. If it chooses them, they evade it. As long as you've got mitigations, it doesn't deal that much damage, so if it hits Rain or Reagan, they'll be okay. The boss will also do magical, dark, or earth damage, which can be resisted, and then fixed earth damage later in the fight. Also later in the fight, the boss will do status effects, but we're not going to go that far. So C card on turn 1 will just use a breaker materia. Any of them are fine. Tulian's TMR, Edge's TMR, etc. Just someone to 85% break. And they need to have the breaker tag. C card has it, Sid has it, etc. Dark Lineage Fina will just do protect and shell for the mitigations on turn 1. And then we'll do Heavenly Field for the LB damage for next turn. This turn, Rain is going to fire imbue the party, 150 amplify, and then his armor grant me power. And then Reagan, Dark Lineage, will fire imbue, cooldown for his modifier, and then we're going to do a fire imperil with Crimson Flame. Make sure you do fire imperil. I actually messed up my last clear by not using fire imperil. Okay, so here we go. Reaper is AoE physical, we evade cover it. Stomp is single target cover ignoring, and provoke ignoring. It's going to hit our Reagan and then one of them on C card. As you saw, it hit Reagan for about 6,000 damage. Not too bad if you've got mitigations, and then it did a dark attack. Okay, so now we're going to use some killers with Fina. Fina Dark Lineage is really good for this fight. If you have her, definitely use her. So we're going to do a Dragon Killer, a Demon Killer, and then a bigger Demon Killer on our Flaring Rain. And now we're going to kill the boss. So the reason we're going to go ahead and OTK the boss is because above 70%, the boss doesn't have any buffs. Once you go below 70%, the boss will skip his turn and do a permanent unremovable defense buff. It's going to make physical damage dealers deal a whole lot less damage. They can still work. It's only a 50% defense buff, but the boss will take way less damage, under 70%, from physical units. But it is a free turn though, so if you burst, get the boss to 20%, the boss will just buff defense and then end his turn. And then hopefully you can finish him off the next turn. But if you've got one of the premiums, they can just OTK it. So Flaring Rain's going to LB, Reagan's going to LB, and because we're bursting from above 70%, the boss has no defense buff, and we just skip the entire phase 2. So there we go. I'm not going to lock that in because I want to come back with other teams, maybe a more budget run. And there it is. There's our turn 2 clear. Same thing with Deoxys. So Deoxys, use his use his Amplify, Imperil, all that on turn 1. OTK it on turn 2, use Reagan Dark Lineage to support chain. Same thing with Lastwell. If you've got Lastwell, do the ice stuff. kill it on turn 2, have Reagan support chain, or deal damage. And if you've got, 2 of them, use both. Use Reagan and Lastwell together, Reagan and Deoxys together, etc., etc. So here's the team that we used. C card, honestly, just doesn't really matter. I kind of overgeared him. Just someone with the breaker tag and one of the breaker materials, either light breaker, dark breaker, etc. Doesn't matter which one. And then, I really overgeared him. Evasion is all that matters. So give him full evasion and he'll cover the Reaper. Fianna Dark Lineage, same thing. I just gave her evasion. Other than that, she's my this is the automatically saved build for her. But she's really good for the killers. Those killers are kind of a big deal. Dragon Killer and Demon Killer. Flaring Rain, very strong. Mine is powerful. We did overkill by a lot. 17k attack power, max dragon, max demon, LB damage. There's the setup. There's the build. Chain speed, the usual stuff. And then Reagan Dark Lineage, I gave him a sword, Titus STMR. This is definitely the quick and easy clear video. And then he's maxed on everything. So there we go. There was the turn 2 OTK using a premium unit. Now I will, this weekend, try to figure out a way to do this with all missions without using premium units. That'll be a little trickier. I'll see what I can do, because the list of Dark Lineage units is pretty small. But there you go. I will do some other fights in a bit. See you then.